All right, guys, Upper Potomac is kind of the aftermath of what you get on the river after all that snow and that high water parts north comes down and brings everything down the Upper Potomac, and the stuff that actually made it over the old Dam 2 in the Piedmont section, it actually gets pushed to the sides, the shoreline bank line of the river towards the canal towpath. And if you go back and look at videos from September and October in this exact spot, none of this behind me was here. It was all simply rock line all the way out to the Potomac. Here's another spot right here. None of that debris all running all the way up right here. Okay, all that. None of that was here last fall, okay? And it's literally litters for about 70 yards the Maryland side of the Upper Potomac in terms of conditions today. So you would be able to friggin' normally get right out on these rocks right here behind me all the way out for probably about 30 yards. It's a really great wade fishing spot for a lot of people. A lot of people fly fish off this. You got off the islands right here. And they make their way out below the dam. The dam is actually behind me, probably about 300 yards, 350 yards, Old Dam 2. And this is really the Seneca Break section. But it's still up, considerably. So you're just now starting to see some of the rocks in the middle of the river, okay? Normally, you would see tons, hundreds, if not thousands of rocks. Okay, but now we've got about 24 or so rocks starting to get exposed again now that the river is settling back down after the 2 snow events, the high water event that pushed this section 5, 6, 6.5 feet in some areas, rolled the water over the inland islands, which is what that is right there. And you could still see a ton of debris up on that island. That means the water was above that at some point, and as it receded, it left that debris on that island. That's typically how it works, and this is the way it is. As it came down this section, it just gets log jammed here as the river turns, okay, and it hits that area and just gets log jammed. So it's going to take a lot to another high water event, something like that. It'll begin over the spring to remove a lot of this stuff and send it on further downriver towards, down towards Swains, Pennyfield, Swains, River Bend, then around the turn and send it on down to Great Falls. That's normally the trajectory of what happens over time, depending on whether or not it gets lodged or not. Or it could sit here. It could sit here all year long. And that's just the river life. That's just what happens on the river. So it blocked about a third of it. There's still the access point our guys launch kayaks from the towpath. That's not blocked. So you can still access this point without having to launch above at the lock. And if you want to avoid typically the shallower part of the breaks and avoid all that and maybe go towards those islands over there, towards the Virginia side, hit all that grass in the spring, and the Virginia side that's on that side this last year is loaded with grass that a lot of people did not. I saw about 2 or 3 people typically during the week. Usually one was the same guy hitting that grass, because a lot of people think there's no grass in the Potomac anymore, and it's just not true. That side of the river is loaded with grass all the way up and down towards Pennyfield. Okay, on the Maryland side, where I'm standing right now, it's mostly that. It's mostly rock. There's rock, shell, smaller rock, gravel, sand along that. A lot of that is predicated on history, because a lot of that had to do with over the course of time of building out the towpath, all of those things, the canals, all that stuff over time has just really made it kind of next to impossible for grass to really grow on this stretch of the Maryland side. But on the Virginia side, it's largely, underexposed. Okay, so there's not the old canal is over there But like, it's not a lot. It's all water traffic. It's not foot traffic. It's not things like that. It's not, a lot of people aren't accessing the river over there like they are on the Maryland side. I'm literally 40 yards from the towpath. I can see bikers going by, behind me, guys walking with rods, wade fishing. You don't get that on that side. So a lot of that has to do with a lot of why that grass has come in over there. Plus, a lot of it also has to do with the fact that a lot of that grass got brought down from the upper Potomac during the floods, okay? All that sediment just gets brought, the water filters it, right? And then it gets lodged, okay? And then it seeds, right? And then over time, more grass comes in. That's why this last year, 2023, was an outstanding year for grass in the Piedmont section of the upper Potomac.